Hello everybody and welcome to my kind of belated October wrap-up. In the month of October I read a grand total of 25 books and they were all actually novels. So I actually read 25 novels. Actually, to be fair, I probably read closer to 29 because one of them was a bind-up of like 4 novels. I have a link to my Goodreads in my description box, and I have a tendency to put each month on its own list on my Goodreads. So if you were to click on the October 2014 list, you would find all the books that I read in October, as well as my ratings and in some cases some written reviews on them. As always, here are some pictures from my favourites of the month. I did have a couple books which I read that, wow, just so amazing. The 3 that really spring to mind are The Scorpio Races by Maggie Stiefvater, Revolution by Jennifer Donnelly, and The Ghosts of Heaven by Marcus Sedgwick. Those 3 books I remember very vividly and immediately went into my favourites. I have at least 2 writers for my sort of Discover New Writers Awards things that I do for each month. The first is Jill Mansell for her series of British chick lit novels. I read 1 and then subsequently read like 3 or 4 others, and all within the span of like a week of each other. But the second writer I would also like to point out is Lish McBride for her book Firebug. Firebug is the latest released by Lish McBride. She's well known for her I believe it's called Hold Me Closer Necromancer and Necromancing the Stone, the kind of Necromancer series, which I admit I haven't read. I've always been really intrigued by them, but I haven't read them. But I did actually win Firebug off of Goodreads and I tore through it in one sitting. It's really brilliant, and I can see why people always go on about Jill Mansell's kind of writing style and this sort of off-kilter quirkiness to it. It reminds me of like a Tarantino film in that. It's just something about the dialogue. It works, but it shouldn't, you know? As for November, I'm not anticipating a fabulous reading month because I am participating in NaNoWriMo. I'm actually filming this on a break from trying to write for NaNoWriMo, and I need to play a bit of catch up because yesterday I didn't write anything because I chose to go see Interstellar in IMAX. I am participating in NaNoWriMo. I participated last year, and while I technically won NaNoWriMo, I clocked in at just over 51,000 words. That story I was writing was maybe about a third of the way done, and I realised what I'd gotten into the issue of was what's known as world builder's disease. I was spending so much time giving just this brick of exposition and explaining the world and building it that I lost track of my story, and I lost track of what the story I was trying to tell. So this year it's very much just tell the story, get all the way to the end, then go back and edit throughout all of December, and maybe have a draft ready to send out in January for queries. That'd be pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. I never saw myself as much of a writer, but that'd be really neat. Oh yeah, the story is a dark fantasy novel set in the Dark Ages of sorts, that time between the fall of the Roman Empire and the rise of medieval Europe. And it's playing with some Arthurian legends a little, not too much, just enough. Here are 3 things I will tell you about my novel. 1. It opens upon the scene of a murder. 2. Magic is very real and has some very serious physical costs to the person who uses it. And 3. The novel will close on a funeral. Yes, those are 3 things I can definitely tell you about the novel, because I mean, I'm sure things will change as I'm writing it, but it's one of the few times I have a full idea that, like, I know each kind of mini point in the plot I need to get to. So it's very much just like, alright, force yourself and get to this point, even if it doesn't sound good or look good, just get there. But that's it for me tonight, you guys, and so until next time, cheers.